on the basis of my own karma. Nobody can ever snatch away my bhagya, which is performed by me, my own karmas. So why should I worry about it? But my bhagya can always be snatched away when I listen to what they are saying and I start generating negative thoughts and I start performing negative karma. That negative karma can snatch away that bhagya. But other people saying ill about me can never snatch away that bhagya. So don't worry. And don't start generating negative thoughts. And don't start creating something or other negative accounts. Because remember this secret. It is only me and my karma who can wash off that bhagya permanently. Nobody else's strength is there to snatch away my bhagya, which is created on the basis of my karma. So I need not worry. Why should I worry? When I am performing a good karma, the bhagya is attached with that karma. Now if somebody is speaking ill about me, can they snatch that bhagya from me? Never. It is only I who can wipe out that bhagya permanently by my own karma. And actually at that time when people start speaking ill about me, when I listen to that, I generate negative thoughts. And in that generation of negative thoughts, I start performing something wrong. And that is why the bhagya is gone. So it is not because of they are jealous that the bhagya is gone. It is because I turned my attitude and I was the one who performed such karma, who wiped away. So whenever anybody speaks ill about it, don't generate negative thoughts. On the contrary, give them good wishes and your bhagya will always be there. Nobody's strength is there, no human strength, not even God himself. Not even God himself can snatch away that bhagya from me, never. That is the secret. Because it is created by my own karma. So even God cannot interfere with my karmas, with my bhagya. So don't worry about people who are jealous. But don't get jealous about them. This is a wonderful insight that we get from Gita. Don't be jealous about others, because you are not able to change their roles, you are not able to change their bhagyas. But when others are jealous, don't worry also. Laugh on the contrary of their ignorance, how ignorant these people are. Who wants to take away my bhagya, which is created by my own karma? And how is it possible? It is never possible. So he says, when he is beyond jealousy, away from the confusion, balanced in victory and defeat, free from the influence of bad company, liberated from ego. His intellect is stable with knowledge and is always a contented soul as he performs the action only for the yajna. So these are the qualifications of that intelligent soul who realizes the depth of karma and keeps himself free from such weaknesses and remains a contented soul instead of worrying, and performs action only for purification process. Action only for yajna. Yajna is the only process where purification takes place. So such actions which purify the self, such actions are performed. Then he further says, Arjuna asks another question. Which is the highest yajna amongst all the yajnas? There are so many yajnas. Jnana yajna, karma yajna. So he says, which is the most elevated sacrificial fire amongst all the yajnas? So God says, hey Arjuna, Jnana yajna is the most elevated amongst all the yagyas and is beneficial of all, because great sinful souls too have crossed the worldly ocean in this boat of knowledge. Jnana Yagya. That Yagya which is done out of proper understanding. That Yagya which is done out of wisdom. That Yagya is the most elevated Yagya, because there is no blind faith in it. And is beneficial of all, because even sinful souls, they have crossed this worldly ocean. Sansara Sagar. They have crossed this Sansara Sagar in the boat of knowledge. Just as fire burns all rubbish, similarly, knowledge destroys all sinful actions. Wisdom has that power. Spiritual knowledge has the power to destroy all the sinful actions. The soul will become pure and clean by creating a strong stage of knowledge and yoga, by finishing attractions and attachments with all sinful actions, material objects and the means. So this is how we are able to purify ourselves. We go through the purification process through knowledge, through proper understanding. The first of all thing, we are able to finish off the ignorance. So the light is there, which shows us the path very clear. And then we are able to finish off all those attractions and attachments which are binding us in bondage. And this is how nothing can stop us from progressing. And we get elevated when we are able to cross this worldly ocean also in this boat of wisdom. And then in the end of 4th chapter, again he shows the qualifications or the qualities of such a yogi soul. And he says, the one who has gained control over his senses, won over his passions, do not have attraction towards material and means, and has faith in God, attains the extreme height of knowledge. He moves forward in his efforts on the path of knowledge and attains the highest peace. The ones who lose their conscience, faith and create doubts, Sanshay Buddhi, those who become Sanshay Buddhi, corrupts the path of their efforts. Sanshay Buddhi Vinashyanti. So they get corrupted on the path of their efforts. They get deprived of the experience of the highest happiness. So, hey Dhananjay, you will be liberated from all types of bondages if you perform actions with feelings of equality, surrender towards the Supreme, and through the method of Karma Yoga, and destroy the doubt that is being created by using the sword of wisdom. In the world also, some people, when they become shakki, doubtful, there is no medicine for it. Nobody can treat them. Nobody can make them understand that whatever you are thinking is wrong. And in the process of all that doubts, they destroy themselves, they destroy their family, they destroy their relationships, and they are left alone. People leave their company. Oh, he's very sanki, he's very shakki, he's very doubtful. Each and everything we do is doubtful about it. And we can see such people and how they lose their families and they become alone. Nobody can help them. Because even somebody who has good wishes and wants to help them, for them also they start creating doubts. So they destroy themselves. That's why God said to Arjuna, do not ever doubt. Do not create doubt, but become a one with a faithful intellect. Therefore he says, Nishchay buddhi vijayanti, sanshay buddhi vinashyanti. You ultimately destroy your own self in doubting. I don't know what will happen. Similarly, in the path of knowledge also, People sometimes doubt, what if I do this, what if I do that, and they are not able to do anything. What will happen? What will the fruits be if I do this and if I do that? They get nothing. They achieve nothing in such doubtful situations. So, then in the 5th chapter, which is on Sannyas Yoga, a knowledgeful soul externally performs all actions, but internally, as he becomes pure, due to the fire of knowledge, he attains peace, detachment, tolerance, spiritual vision, and bliss by renouncing the fruit of all those actions. What is renunciation? What is sannyas? That is clarified by the Supreme. From verse 1 to 6, the difference between the yoga of renunciation, sannyas yoga, and karma yoga, how selfless karma yoga is elevated. From verse 7 to verse 12, the characteristics of sannyas yoga and karma yoga and their praise. How both of them are not different but one. From verse 13 to verse 26, the topic of jnana yoga, yoga of knowledge. And from verse 27 to 29, the description of dhyana yoga. Again, he enters into another dimension from sannyas yoga to dhyana yoga, meditation along with bhakti. So in the beginning, the question is of Arjuna, which is elevated, sannyas yoga or karma yoga? Which yoga should I follow? Should I follow the path of renunciation, leaving everything and going to the jungles to do tapasya? Or should I follow the path of karma yoga, which is elevated for me? Explain me that. And beautifully God has answered his question. Both sannyas yoga and karma yoga are elevated. Both are elevated. How? Because the one who performs actions and does not have hatred towards others. So what do I have to renounce? I do not have to renounce the karma. I have to renounce the weaknesses in that karma. Renouncing the hatred towards anyone and does not aspire for any fruit of his action, then he is always worthy to be known as a renunciate, as a sannyasi. It is not the action. It is not the action that we have to renounce, but it is the attitude behind the action. With which attitude we are performing that action. The action may be elevated, but if we have a doubtful intellect, that attitude is wrong. So renounce that attitude of weakness. So he says, it is not the action, but the attitude behind the action that binds or liberates the person. The renunciation of duty or action is not renunciation. Giving up our duties, giving up activities, that is not renunciation. And going to the jungle, that is not sannyas. Renunciation is to let go of hatred, enmity, greed, desires in that action. I have to give up these weaknesses. That is real selfless karma yoga. That is sannyas yoga and karma yoga. And he further explains, renunciation cannot be attained without karma yoga. Sannyas cannot be attained without karma yoga. The one who has gained victory over his senses, by being the embodiment of yoga, purity, and while seeing all living beings as souls, not the bodies, and getting attracted to the bodies, but seeing each and every individual as a soul. Such pure vision when we develop, his mind is within his control. He understands himself to be distinct from the senses. I am not the senses. I am not this hand. I am not this legs. I am not this head. I am not this mouth. I am the controller of the senses. So developing that attitude of mastery, I am the master of this